Sanje Chedang Soji Chonong La Shangje Pada Dana Jobsum Che Daku Chishi Jebe Sonam Rola Benjura Sanje Drabare Sho Sanje Chedang Soji Chonong La Shangje Pada Dana Jobsum Che Daku Chishi Jebe Sonam Lola Benjara Sanje Rabara Sho Sanje Chudang Soji Chonam La Shangje Pada Dana Japsam Je Dak Chishi Jebe Sonam Lola Benjara Sanje Rabara Sho. Again, good morning, everyone.
Morning, Geshe.
Good to see you, everyone. Nice to meet you, everyone. I hope all of you enjoy the snow, big snow.
Kind of, yes.
Yeah, good to enjoy it. Just, I'm very lucky I have snow. Anyway, it's wonderful. I'm not talking too much to here. As I mentioned last week, we taught a little bit meditation to every Sunday morning, at least like 15, 20 minutes. And usually it will come the letter for the hard meditation for Karma body. The Karma body is very important to our practice. If you have Karma body or concentration, then it's pretty easy to practice. It's not difficult because right now we cannot control our mind. Our mind become, crazy monkey, just doesn't stay at their own moment. Even the monkey is sleeping, they just hand moving. The nature, then our mind is like that. Therefore, there's so many different ways to how to meditation, Karma body. Like we are Buddhism, with the object for what we focus is Buddha Shakyamuni statue. There are a couple of reasons that I don't have to talk too much. Because if we more focus the object of Buddha Shakyamuni statue, we create the more merit because object of the Buddha's Shakyamuni statue. Then some people also, just looking like piece rock. Some people look at the light, and some people looking, focus on the mind, the clear or mind or whatever your mind. There's so many ways, but the Buddhism way is like the object of Karma body is the Buddha Shakyamuni statue. Okay. Then there are most couple important things. There, first we need to like faith or I want to that. Like this is like main important. Tibetan called tepa, is like faith. Faith means no, just like the faith is also like 2-3 different ones. I want that. Then second is dumba, means your motivation to do like that. The voluntary, not someone forced. The third thing is also effort. We need to effort. Without effort, we don't do anything. Without effort, even we have to take shower. We need to effort to things. Otherwise, you just jump the water, come back. You cannot take shower. Therefore, any kind is effort very important. The third one's shija or blessing or result. When we got that, then your mind become more peace, your body become more relaxed. Like that, okay? Okay, Damju is here. Good. Good morning, Damju.
Morning, Geshe. Morning, everybody.
Okay, that really want to go to this. Sanyama shoketaba and gum chuse kamanisho and chuse chegare gum jay. That's
So starting from today, every Sunday in the morning, we're going to meditate for 20 to 30 minutes.
그러나 단대 갑등원에 검자에도 약속했자. 나도 너네 루룩 제바때 나도 깨지. 제 소소 지나 소소 켈마 손하고 따다 요거 말해. 너네 루룩 제대 깬대지. 아니 소소 나라다 소소 고드마 잡잖아. 파시 마체 딱 아니 솔라 디스트로치가 요 말해.
Because this is a really good time to do meditation as you are by yourself at your home. Nobody to disturb you. For most of you, maybe not all of you, but for most of you, it's convenient to do meditation now because of this situation where you have to be at home by yourself. So, it's good to know to spend this time to do meditation because there's nobody around to disturb you.
제자가 아니 다 검자야 돼. 시다 신의 검도도 얼마 용 그랬다. 뒤 가서 마셔 쇼게 신의 데도 검게 있어 봐.
So there will be more explanation about meditation on calm abiding later on in this text. But first we're going to do a little bit of meditation on our own before we start the text.
되지. 제자가 담보 소소 쇼게 나도 검자 걸라다. 아니 우군 종업해나. 우파 땅 수다. 아니 우파 땅에 요추도 다가랑 갈라베나. 아니 까마니스 도치 검자래서.
So first starting with the breathing meditation. So you focus on your breath as you breathe in, think you're breathing in. As you breathe out, think you're breathing out. So just focus on your breath as you breathe in and out. And so we'll do just a breathing meditation for a minute or two.
제가 수수가 샘디 티가나 약보지 때다 봐이나 아니 잼바 저 섬로 셴바도 내가 말해서 간다 코 샘테 약보 때돼요 완자.
So as the mind cannot be in two places at the same time. So if your mind is on the breath, it cannot go to other places. If your mind is firm on the breath, then other thoughts will not come in your mind.
다도 제대로 갈라다 너도 변나 띵에데 고말라다 내가 소보데 대바 덤바 존지 아니 띵은 제와이나 안타미기 시장사지 돕지데 된데 다 되고 그래서.
And so when you do the meditation, you need these three things like Geshe mentioned earlier: faith, aspiration, and effort. So then with that, then there will be called suppleness, the mental and physical suppleness.
제가 등송한도 참아 요래서 덤바는 요래 대반은 요래 덤바는 요래 존지 다 강성간도 제가 가만히랑 가서 돈이 검토로 왔어.
We have all that and all those required conditions, like we have a faith, right, in meditation, in practice, and we have aspiration to do the practice, and then we make effort. So like I said today, we're going to be making effort to do like 20 to 30 minutes. So that's the making effort.
제가 두 제다 보면 다 드네 제네변 담보복은 종어 됐을 거만나 선바도 때 말을 그래서 대체받았다 수수은 되는 니테가 내려 이제 야셔도 되는라 산지 좀 되는 거 아니 지금 첨부 많이 받지 야 지금 어거 넘버도 된지 세보 세타밍도 어거 넘버도 야 지금 조고 제고 요새는 되네 섬당고 그래서.
And so first we'll do a breathing meditation, where you relax your mind by focusing on the breath, and then once your mind is relaxed or in one place, then you can shift the focus on the visualization of Buddha's image or a statue in the space in front of you, right around at the level of your forehead, and visualize Buddha Shakyamuni's the image. Or Buddha Shakyamuni, like in real life, but not made of flesh, bone, blood, and so forth, but like all made of light, but not like fluffy, like a wind, not like that, but my kind of a weighty visualization of Buddha Shakyamuni.
아니 드네제야 아니 담보대 변에 세례랑 라타 변나 땅 세다 맞는 거라 다 세례랑 라타 드네 갈래야 수보 자살라 다 가지 아니 산지 좀 되는 거딱 구속 주보 달 셈도 거는 되고 그래서.
And so also for that, if you find difficult to have the clear picture of the whole body, you can just start with the small part of the body. So first you start with the head, and then even the head you can just start with the the eyes, and then go down to the nose, mouth, and then the whole face, ear, the forehead, and then the crown protrusions, all that. So then from there, then you move, to increase, your visualization of the whole body.
And that day, some seminal some kind Sanji Chunde Sota Kanuchin Mashana, and the Suzun Delia, Namu Pando, Hakuno, Kari Telam Jigta, Yaming Matam Tara, their Tapshagores.
So if you have no idea about the picture, of the Buddha Shakyamuni, then you can look at the actual picture. You can have an actual picture of Buddha Shakyamuni on the table in front of you. Look at that, and then you close your eyes or just cast your eye towards the tip of your nose, and then try to think of Buddha Shakyamuni or visualize the Buddha Shakyamuni. And then if it's not clear again, then open your eye, look at the picture, and then get the idea of the picture, and then again do the visualization.
Oh, yeah, that Tara collects the dead, Shembake Cheomar, Tara, that Techona, Kasi Sewa, Sewa, Penasuzo, Shegon and the So Doma, the Sewa, Tenaji Gores, Sewash.
And so just do the exercise on that, nothing else, but just do exercise on trying to have a clear visualization of the Buddha's image. So the visualization the picture image that you visualize has to be so clear, and that it should be like you're looking at your face on the mirror. When you look at your face in the mirror, it's very clear to you, right? Just like that, the visualization of the Buddha's image should be clear like that.
And it they are been Tamboji Tamboji.
And then the visualization should be very firm in the sense that you have to hold the object with your mind very firmly.
Okay. Oda gomjak인데 다 당게 담보 웅정을 때문에 산재 고금 아니 도치 다 소소 gom was.
Okay, now
Kama
okay,
kama nyushu gomgendas.
First meditate on breath. So do the breathing meditation for a minute or two, and then once you have settled your mind, then shift the visualize in the mind to look at or to visualize Buddha's image, and then if it's clear, then you just hold on that for as long as possible. If it's not clear, again look at the picture, and then try to have the visualization of that, and then just practice on that. So we're going to do that for 20 minutes now.
이한 잠잠 들이 삼다가 수수 세마 삼다면 삼로 땅요 삼만에 세마 셴바지 로사데 셴바지 삼대요. 된 로건도 따고 그래서.
And then there has to be also the introspection, looking at your mind, checking your mind, whether it's focusing on the right thing or not. Sometimes we think we were thinking that, but then we have already moved our mind somewhere else. Then we have to notice that or be aware of that, and then bring your mind back to the actual object.
전백에 번에 자타오지 라파가 누우지 섬대에 손으로 섬고인데 이나 그 가지 삽삽치는데 폭을 삽삽치 섬대 그러고서.
And so the mindfulness, has to be also pretty strong to hold the object. So mindfulness is like remembering the object, being like mindful of the object. So like, if you're holding a hot, very boiling hot tea in your hand, you'll be very careful to not spill it. So because you're being very mindful of that. So just like that, you have to be mindful of your object of meditation.
Okay, 당고 중에 단다 추주주도 까먹으면 좀 소심해서. So we're
going to start the meditation now. It is 10:33. We will do until 10:53 for 20 minutes. So if you find being bored or tired, then you can do something to wake yourself up, like take a sip of water or coffee or whatever. But don't just take a break after that. Then go back to your meditation again.
Okay, everyone ready? How's it? Too long?
No, it was good.
제가 내리전에 됐 이름을 공고 그랬어. 근데 단다 지나도 지지나 밑에 때뭐 손톱 말다나 걔나가 말에 라로 그래 양주 틀려 양주 투용 그래서 걔 말에.
So like that, you have to spend a little more time, doing meditation. Of course, right now, you're not expected to be able to focus throughout the time for 20 minutes. You might lose your focus or the object, and then you have to bring your mind back, to the object again, and then you will lose it again, bring it back. So, keep on doing this a couple of times. As you do more and more, you'll get better and better with your focus.
아니 근데 신의 드베칼라야 미바드 저점냐고 말해. 신의 드베칼라야 고 간데질 뭐나 빠르야나 고버 빠르간데 소소 삼자 다가나 가디나 삼 다가나 타고 그래. 신의 드베칼라야.
So when you are meditating to actualize calm abiding, then it is not advisable, to change your object. So whatever object that you have decided to use, whether it's a piece of stone or a piece of stick or a statue of a Buddha or image of a Buddha, you just have to use one object throughout the time until you actualize the calm abiding.
아니 빼 고도 빼셔야 돼. 빼나 신이라고 뜨나 신데 두사 찍으려잖아. 신이 야보 찍어야 돼. 대리 찍을 수 야산이 사실 저거 야난이 저거 두두잖아. 아니 신이 야보 맞죠. 신으로 그래 봐. 빼 대로로 샤요.
So the example that given, is like planting a tree. If you plant a tree, you have to, put it in one place, and let it grow there. If you dig it out and then plant it somewhere else, and then dig it out from there again, plant it somewhere else, then it will not grow well, and instead it might even die.
어제 시당 검제가 다 미민 ram라서 있네. 신의 검까블야 아니 가디나 미빠데 찍라 좀 다가랑 갈라테 아니 가세 세세 가세 담담지 가세 치단 안에 그 샘도 야보용 거 따래.
So when you're doing a meditation on the calm abiding, of course, you have to use just one object all the time, and then try your best, to focus on that object and as much as possible, and for as long as possible. And if you lose it, then come back again, and then focus on that, and then try to lengthen your time on that focus, and then you lose it again, and then you come back. So you do have this like that, till your focus becomes really strong and firm for a long time.
야 드네 신의 미빠 때마다는 야 봉중 공고 디바라 야 빠라도 야 우파 대 딱고 코나 많이 가지고 살아야 돼.
And if you are not able to focus at all, then you try to do the relaxing meditation on the breathing, on concentration on the breath, to focus your mind or to relax your mind, and then again come back to the actual object that you have decided to use for the calm abiding.
Okay, 어디지 다 대시 당신의 검제. 다 되는 막 당어서 가서 로조 던데 맡은 만도이와 다야 들마 파디는 검제가 인다시.
And so now that's about the calm abiding, and now we're going to go back to our actual teaching on the 7-point mind training. We're going to meditate on those topics again.
대단한 저 검제야 되는 거다. 검제나 코 용화 통기도 용화잖아. 아니 코 세명원이 좋았다기도 생각도 어떤 인발이 어두 송발이 납다가나 코 대나 요한테 다가를 고 샤샤바나 가서 학고거다 세나 팽겨서 말해.
So if we meditate, then we'll really gain the experience and realizations. Then we'll say, oh yeah, it's really like that. And then you understand it. Otherwise, if you just study, then you say, oh yeah, must be like that, must be like that. You only understand. You don't get the real experience of those teachings or practices.
Oh yeah. 당가도 되면 대시적이 하차도 까마치 등이 곰잡쇼스.
And so we're going to explain gradually. So again, meditate for a couple of minutes on that.
Okay. 다 담보 가제 아니 다다 우리 좀 검지. 다 띵도 검지. 근데 소소 검대 야보 영화가 있다. 아니 지 사제도 샤조 삼바 예담 소소 자벨라메가 ngala chi chenobya ko naro na setende ro tara kala sam de go resite de shows.
And then for you to be able to do your practice or meditation successfully, request, to the Guru deities, to bless you. So, Guru deities, please bless me to be able to meditate well. So, like, just make that request, and just stay on that thought for some time.
다 대쇼라 가르쳐들나 아니 텐데기 냠내 야보지 단단하라서 다와지 조와쳐서 가지 산지에 땜바는 자 기비신이는 자베 단다 고급 야보 내가 마셔와이나 아니 저기면도 제가 밀리대 가지 뭐 고치 뭐 야보 중요 공도 어떤 삼고레스 밀리 던다 담아시
And then think of making that kind of practice priority in your life, as you have been born with the prophet in rebirth. You have all the favorable conditions to practice Dharma and free from the unfavorable conditions. And therefore, I should make a good use of this prophet in rebirth by practicing Dharma. I will make it meaningful by practicing Dharma. So just think like that. And
뇨모 두섬 그 영화도 마지막에 제거도 다랑 섬다고 그랬어.
keep that thought on that thought of thinking of making this prophet rebirth meaningful by not engaging in the non-virtuous action, by not following the delusions, but only practicing Dharma.
뭐야? 다 대줄라. 다 단다 된대기 밀리 ton다 봐. 개와야 보마잖아. 아니 저와 맞다 봤을 때그 대리 용다 산이 용다 로주마 용다 하고 뭐도. 아니 간제 맞으라 맞대. 아니 남친 참에 간제 에 세린 보시라 내가 말한다. 다리를 단단하는 것도 도 대상 거래. 대상비 진세대 저와 맞다 봤을 som다고 그래서.
And then think, if I don't make this perfect human rebirth meaningful, practicing Dharma, then the death can happen anytime. Whether it will happen today, tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow, we don't know. So it can happen anytime. Therefore, I should practice Dharma from right now, from right this moment. So by thinking about the death and impermanence, and that induces you to practice Dharma from right now.
뭐야. 다섬 요모 영화도 전에 레사 아니 레대왕가 아니 양한테 파시나 양종 코발에 지켜발래 봐나 다 전에 리아치는 다 코발에 타고는 코발에 타야 제대 땅에 주나마 타바지니마 데리는 것도 그것만 타로 제고 요래서.
And so by following the delusions, when I create karma, then that karma will make me circle in cycle existence, and be born in cycle existence again and again. And therefore I have to free myself from cycle existence. So think of that thought of freeing yourself from cycle existence.
뭐야. 다 고마터 들어. 다 대응은데 된지 최대 바세 등도 접어레스.
So with that, we have gone through the preparatory practice, meditation. Hope it is not too much of meditation today.
아니 오늘 전에 디나라야 아니 신의 댄술 아니 단조니까 아니 저와 못봐 아니 레전드 코인이고 강가곰고 요래서.
And so in that, so we meditate on the Guru devotion by making requests to the Guru, and then prophet and rebirth, death and impermanence, karmic law, cause and effect, and the renunciation.
뭐지 다 되게 맨들 둔지 최대 봐서. 근데 이제 상적을 샘종 걸어야 야도 곰대고요다.
So then, so that's the preparatory practice, preparing to engage in the actual practice. So now you have to do even more meditation on in the actual practice.
제가 더 전에 샘라야 그 엑서사이즈 제 샘라 인가도 자서 빼자지 따지 아니 마다는 섬다 섬다도 말 단단 고고 말했을 때 근데 된 고약 제다 아니 공양이 양다 잡다 고고 들어.
And so important, to train your mind in this way, to understand the Dharma. Otherwise, if you just read the words, you will not understand it. Oh, it must be like that, or maybe like that. But then when you practice it, and then you gain the real experience, and meditate, then you get the real experience, and then you understand better.
다 된대 제가라 다 된대 전에 아니 다 되게 다 상조스는 니 지원하다 봐라 아니 군속 상조스는 된동 상조스는 니 군속 상조 된동 상조스는 다 돈이 도배가 돈이 거라 시작해야 돼. 가제 된동 상조 셈세 다 상조스는 문에 되래서.
군주전선.
군주전선.
So then in the actual practice of generating the bodhicitta, there are two kinds: the ultimate bodhicitta and the conventional bodhicitta. The ultimate bodhicitta is actually the wisdom realizing emptiness directly within the continuum of Arya Bodhisattva. And so that's not the actual bodhicitta. So the actual bodhicitta will be the conventional bodhicitta.
다도 제가 다도 공부해서 다 간조변에 남주 추네 시아바잖아. 간지 소소라 까디 체쇼데 텐데가 아마데레. 담보 아마라곰. 드네 대배 대신에 아니 바와 아니 드네 아니 소소 조모 드네 샘자 참아 드네 소소 마가데 달라 주주금. 시단 로다 두세 말레스.
And so first you meditate on the kindness of your mother of this life. And so then once you have thought about meditate on that, then you move to your father, to your siblings, to your relatives, and then to all sentient beings. And then when you have that, then you also move to the beings that you don't like, or those you consider as your enemies.
아니 야 담보죠 아마를 겁나 그 소발레기면도 야 빠발금 간지 소소라 간지 센들라 소소 담메 델리까지 체치오 매 삼기질라 간지 대소소 개gel라 고메 메레스 개gel라 많이 바지 많이게 소소 빠와 아마도 토보토무라 간지까지 체쇼 대 공고요레스.
And so again, when we talk about the kindness, some people make kindness. Oh, my teacher is very kind. So you don't meditate on the teacher, okay? Not the teacher, but your mother or other sentient beings. So if you find mother not very close to you, you can't think of your mother being very kind to you, then think about your father or somebody else who has been most kind to you.
What that to me, the Niji Tadu, some of the Tammente, Tanga said the Kanji. Tango Makadi Cheva Kulta Pesha Mabu Shusun, Kante Susu said like the Mitele Garden changing a chun, Tanda Palace, May, some Toy Lego. Kanichimbo Yembari, somebody in Tugmare, Koro Susu Sembra, some touch of goddess.
So you have to think about the kindness of that person, whoever has been very kind to you. That and think about the kindness of the person. There are many people who've been very kind to us, like our mother or father, and they've been very kind to us, but we don't really think about that. We don't realize that, right? So, so you have to think about their kindness again and again. Again, in what way they have been very kind, how did they sacrifice their life for us? All these things, you have to think about that. So somebody who has been very kind to you, think about that person's very kindness and all the kindness again and again, until you really feel that, yes, that person is very kind. All I am now is because of that person. Without that person, I'm nothing. I would be dead, and all these things like that. You can think again and again and again until you really have this strong feeling, towards that person, to do something for that person. So like, I can't just live without repaying the kindness. So that's the kind of thought you have to lead to after thinking about the kindness. So if we don't think about that, if we don't meditate on that and just read on the book, then we say, oh yeah, that's right. They've been very kind to you, kind to me, but then you don't realize that.
The Tindri Kade Chamber Kata Susu Samachi Yao Shatawayana, Tate Dungada Jeda Chabalatana Chemaru, Nibeta Nijagongore, Duna Tavasho, Samia, Samtara, Kanadegore.
And so when you think about, when you have thought about that, that person's being very kind to you, and then you can't stand by his side, can't stand aside without thinking of repaying the kindness of that person. This person is very kind to me, so I have to do something. So yeah, so what do I do? So what the best I can do is to free that person from the suffering and to provide that person with the happiness. So then that leads to provide happiness to that person and to free that person from the suffering. And so then you have to have that very strong wish wanting them to be free from suffering. That's what we call compassion. So may they be free from suffering. May they be free from suffering. So you have to have that strong thought, thinking again and again, for again and again, wishing them to be free from suffering.
Oh, yeah, Takaya, Kamakachi Gomja and the Tambo, Sozola Kadichi, Kanzate, Nivachi. And the Tindiga Kanza, the Duma the Trana Chimaru, somebody Gomgo does.
And so, so now first you find the person who has been very kind to you, and then secondly, and then develop strong compassion towards that person, wishing that person to be free from suffering. So first think about the kindness, and then next, may they be free from suffering. That's so on that thought, meditate for a couple of minutes now.
Okay. 뭐야? 다 텐데 니제 곰지. 다 데이트라 가는 다 아니 텐데가 소소 까대지에 섬지들 가래가 넣거든나. 아니 동화가 의서 근주고 제는 거도 의서까지. 텐데자 아니 대jel라 옆에 동화도 좀 근주 강 연바데. 아니 소소라 투 그래서 나라 몸버쇼 나서 대 소소 투 그래 소소라 투 텀네 소소 니가라 단다 나세지 수준함치 삼다 대 요삼바지 텔마 텀지 텐데 나대야 아니 다 매바 차소 삼바 도지 삼고 그래서
So then those beings who are suffering, who you wish to be free from suffering, what causes them the most harm is directly by the suffering and indirectly by the causes of the sufferings. And now think about taking all their suffering and the causes of sufferings upon yourself by actually by visualizing in the form of a smoke, black smoke, or black liquid and so forth, and visualize all their sufferings and the cause of suffering in that form, and imagine taking upon yourself and dissolving into the self-cherishing mind that you have at your heart.
뭐야지 다도 지금 다 동화 틀에 다 들어 코돌아 가리게 팽했나 근데 개와다 대와다 레비샤칸 이바도 팽데 다 소소jel라 개와다 레비샤칸 이바도야 콘돌아 파타 땅게 예삼바지 콘돌아 테타마 콘돌라지 라네 아니 진디게 샘제대야 대와다 뎀르 동화다 차와 차소 삼 고레스
And now what they want, is the happiness and and the cause of the happiness and all the goodnesses. And so imagine giving them from your side, giving them all this happiness and cause of happiness, the virtues, and all the goodnesses, to them in a form of white cloud or light, and then they receive it, and then now they become very happy. And content, with all the happiness and so forth. So imagine like that.
뭐야 다도 전에 아니 텐데 돈래니 뭐 빼마상자지 아니 둘 가르 되나는 수수부 두 땅을 갈라 sem생게지지 아니 지금 대차 셔당라도 아니 도좀 강요 바데 수수부 두 땅하다 님도 아니 지금 도커당 수게나 바지네 수수 주 근데 대소도 알아 좀 때문에 봐차 야 안에 수파 땅을 갈라 아니 수수지 개와달래 비차 강이 바 야 지금 가르고 다 까르고 지금 좀 바꿔보는 되게 나빠지네요. 33마라 바다 도지네요. 우건 정도도 자네 공고요래서.
And like it is said in the text, these two, the taking and giving, should be done alternately and on the breath. So as you breathe in, imagine taking all the sufferings and the cause of sufferings in a form of a black cloud or black soot, and then dissolving into you at your chest, where the self-cherishing attitude is. And then as you breathe out, imagine giving them the happiness, the goodnesses, and the cause of happiness in a form of a white light or cloud, and then they're receiving it and they're becoming very happy. So this way, you do this meditation of taking and giving, alternately on the breath as you breathe in and breathe out.
야, 또 챙기고. 아니 또서 그러면 다 심지어 잠바들라 야치 텐데 아니 너무 짜다 가르세나 아니 여동와 여동와라 때네 잡아 여동 먹어라 때네 동와 안 밤마라 때네 다 직가로 야와도 별로 전에 간제 아니 열섬나 때네 내 차셔다 뜨무섬 찍어도 다 군소질라야 내 차셔다 뜨무섬 매비가 아니 내 차 매비가 와 셔다 매비가 와 뜨무베께서 쳐봐지 군소질라야 계속 도지는 삼그 되고 온도와
And then what causes the suffering, is the delusions, like the attachment, and anger and ignorance, the attachment to one's friends, families, or close ones, and then hatred to one's enemies, the people one doesn't like, and and then ignorance, to those who are indifferent, like strangers and so forth. So because of this, and they will create all this negative karma, and then result of that, we experience all this suffering. So may they be free from this, all these delusions, and may they possess the virtue of free from attachment, a virtue of free from anger, a virtue of free from ignorance. So just think that stays that on that thought for a little while.
근데 삼게 야 특대 맞아 대나 맞아 왔다 아니 특강 되고 대나 지들라 뭐 투제전으로 대나 지들라 뭐 투제자 맞전도 왜 들으도 뭐 말에 다다나 다가 되게 전 로고 대나 좀 특다라 특대 저 삼노대 다다 되고도 도시고
And then in order to not forget that, then you can recite the verses that explains about the practice of taking giving, like thus compassionate gurus bless me to be able to take the sufferings of others upon myself, and then give one's happiness and virtue to others, and like that. So you recite that verse, and then meditate on that thought, of thinking of taking the sufferings upon oneself, and then giving happiness and virtue to others.
뭐야 다 두고 공그럼 받쳐서 들어버리세요 와
So with that, we have completed all the meditation now.
다 대양 변화 도치는 근데 아마라죠 근데 소소니 야수도 지잖아 아니 근데 파라 파카보 근데 아니 심지 샴발라 도치는 파마르마르마 파카보고 그래서
So once you have established, that firm conviction, about the kindness of the mother of this life, then you think about the kindness, of your father, and then other people, other beings. So you move on to all beings and how they all have been very kind to you.
다 된로다 그래. 다 대, 아니 저는甚至샴바도 저 요금도 삼다 맡았다 소소 삼다고 소소라 니제지. 아니 곰고기로 와.
So if you can't think of compassion towards others, then think about compassion towards yourself.
아니 대변아 아니 소소가 강에도 쳔바지. 대야 단다 강에 쳔만났다 산이와 강에대 아니 대리 소소라 문소냐 바지. 아니 나니 영어도 두치 야 두치 검차사 지금 다 요랬어 봐.
And so you can also think about your own suffering and wish yourself to be free from that suffering. So that way you're having compassion for yourself. So if you don't have any suffering today and you can't think of any suffering, then think about the suffering that you may have tomorrow or next month, next year, when you grow old, when you die, all those sufferings that you can think of. Then imagine taking all those sufferings upon yourself now. And then so develop like that compassion for yourself by thinking in that way.
다가나지 개원으로나 개원으로 산님멤버들 다 데리란 멤버 속서마도 나님멤버들 야 데리 두시야 제초고서로 봤어.
And then so you can also think about your own happiness. May I be able to experience the happiness, so may I be able to experience the happiness that I'm going to experience tomorrow or next year or next life. All these things you can think that all the happinesses may I experience them now. So have love for oneself.
야 다티 국대 먹었지. 다 데리 소소 녀사간의 야라야요. 카타야요. 와티 소소 개회 편에 예선배 가고 그랬어.
I'm not just waiting for that time, but thinking that the fact that I'm able to get up from my my bed today and to be able to walk around, to be able to eat and enjoy all these things in the life is because of the virtuous actions that I've created in my past.
어 맞이 땡은 용거를 봐. 고다만이나 산이 쇼게 샤 야랑이 만보여. 맨가나 야 고바자만 소소 용함이 만보여.
And so yeah, that's a true, right? That we're able to sleep and able to go to sleep and then wake up in the morning, and somebody like going to the hospital on the bed and then be able to stand up on their feet.
하나씩 대사로 도입 내두고 뺐는데 쇼케로나 건다고 신도가 만벌래기도 와. 다 아니 안다 강화 요와디 다 개변되고 예스면 가바곰 초고도 와.
And then same with the the current situation like the COVID-19. Some people have that, and then they get all free from that. So these are all all the results of the virtuous action. And so I think that all is really good. That is all because of the virtuous actions that I've created. Therefore, I should create more virtuous action.
다 나지가 소소 남해봐야나 나 만나왔대. 나랑은 좀바이 사마나 코시라 토할래 말이야. 나 사업지만 나 만나왔대야. 아니 꼰초까지 개변 드베이 삼 가바곰 초고레스. 나네 가세 나야는 나는 뭔가 마시바태야. 아니 given some
and so also like not being sick, not falling sick, not being infected by COVID-19. If you think that because I'm very careful and I'm being very conscientious and therefore I'm not sick. If you think like that, then you don't get much feeling. But if you think, this is by the kindness of the three jewels, by the kindness of practicing virtuous action. Therefore, I'm not sick, and I'm not infected by COVID-19 like that. Then it will encourage you, appreciate about the virtuous action and encourage you to engage in more virtuous actions. So therefore, it's good to think in that way. And if you have, if you were sick and then. And if you are sick but not dead yet, then by that also you can think is by the kindness of the three jewels and by the kindness of the virtuous actions.
다 계속 시와이나 가 단데 또 있는데 그 시와 대야 다 문제 거기 랩셔 체르 아니 단데 믹스들한테는 다 잠벌레기 깨웠다 뭐 뭐고 두미 잡지 난 그래서 또 있는데 그 시에 처음에 쳤대 나한테는 저 그래서 믹스들한테 그거 가고 좋아해서.
So you can rejoice in that way, thinking that this and that. So even if I die, then you can still rejoice in that, thinking that, there are so many people praying for me in this world. So there are so many holy beings, so many people praying for me. So I'm included in their prayers. So I'm very lucky, that I'm receiving these prayers because I died now. You can also rejoice in your death also.
Okay, 제가 들이 도시 섬도 가서 수수산을 팽겨서 শে단 데 가라 좀 맞춰 와시 용 마롱 와시 아니 가라 들이 쇼서담나 되게 강이 마세베 카라야 아니 섬나 빼 남도 못 사는도.
So when you think in this way, then no matter what situation befalls, it doesn't bother you. Otherwise, you say, why is this happening to me? It should not happen to me. This should not have happened to me. Why is it happening to me? If you think like that, then it becomes problem on top of a problem.
오케이 다 되게 가서 아니 다 가로 Longzhong Yala Diganani, and then to Tenji, Chutemba, Nishi Shanchu, Semjo, Teni, and the Chensaver. I Jumanga to Chazan, Jini Shaman, the Gomjati, Reshi Jamagochi, Soso, the Gom show that Magumaidas, Reshi Jadan Shungo.
And so that's with that we are done with the practice, the preparatory practice, and the actual practice of generating bodhicitta. And so next time, of course, every time we meet, we'll do the meditation, but we'll not go through all this explanation because that takes up a lot of time. So when you are told to meditate, then you have to meditate on all these stages we just went through. Okay.
아니 딩헬랑아도 아니 신내대 신내 검사 다 신내 검께서 딩아도 이마 따바 검게다 때때스 찍지나 단다 다와 가시 누드 지역장아도 검나 찍지나 주망아도 춘좀을 갈라 춘도 참아 직 sembalele 가래 sem바 템보로 아니 신내래야 뭐 시바레스.
And then on the meditation on the calm abiding, that we did earlier, so that you have to do on a daily basis, every day, little by little, every day. So then it will help your mind to be able to focus properly when you do the meditation on any subject. When you meditate on that, your mind will become more firm and stable on that. So it's important to practice every day. So next time, when we actually gather together and do meditation in group in the Gompa, then your mind will be more relaxed and more stable. Nothing will distract you.
제대로 신내가 팬으로 찍시와이나 신내 가든 잡아이나 단단가도 샘 축되고 갈라 샘도 컨트롤 제도입니다. 신내 잡아이나 카투랑 코가도 컴바 고냐만 제가도 제도요 그래서.
And so there are a lot of benefits, of actualizing calm abiding. If you have actualized calm abiding, or means if you have gained the realization of calm abiding, then it's very easy to control your mind. So right now, when our mind is disturbed, then we get carried on by that thought, and then become more and more disturbed. But if we have a calm abiding, then we can control our mind very easily, right away, and no disturbance will bother us. So it's like, when you lock the door, you can't go in, nobody can go in, just like that. And you can just lock it and your mind will be peaceful, thinking that nobody will come in and steal your possession. Just like that, you can lock your mind on an object and no disturbance will bother you.
제가 신내되면 너무 빵글라가 봐요. 한테 고마로 빵요 말이 되나 그 너무 등에도 맞아 소통이 그래서.
So when you have when you have actualized calm abiding, and you're able to shut all other thought and then just focus on one object, then the delusions will not arise. But doesn't mean that you have abandoned the delusions. You do not just arise at that time because your mind is focused on other object.
배나 지난 고나고나 아니 수자면도나 나타달라도 그러네. 나타 자요 말어. 대치 바로 그래서. 근데 되네 나타 자야 그지데 수면나 고 나타 자지 매 갈래 그서 단도 그러.
So it's just like when you have a headache, you take aspirin, to reduce your pain. But doesn't mean it has reduced your pain, but doesn't mean the headache has gone, right? The disease is not gone yet. It just killed the pain for a moment, but hasn't cured the disease completely. It's just like that.
제가 같이 안에 신에 돈은 너무 빵으로서 삼십을 때 빵고 말다 대 고알로 말하마시.
So you have to, take medicine, for a long time, and then gradually you'll be free from that disease like that. So some people think like when you have actualized calm abiding, and you are free from delusion. It's not like that.
제가 신에대 제가 남중도 빼잖아요. 신에 야보지 저번에 나와 죽은 대신에 접근해서 그래서.
So the actualizing calm abiding is not that difficult if we if we do it in the right way. With all the right conditions, then it can be actualized, in as short as 6 months.
아니 단다타 니마도 버다 대상 보시 쉬기는 아니 것도 레불라야 아니 샹섬 전화 봤어요. 아니 기시지여서까지. 아니 공고 신의 법요를 생각도 납 그래서. 아니 단다 세라네 자와까지 기제트가 패도 로도. 아니 다 신의대 간딩원에 가든 적고 그래. 가세는 보나. 야보던데 추도섬난 적거래서 추도섬나 말음나 저는 답답해 노래를 그러. 야 저는 그 라마를 계제티. 야 미름도 섬에 땅고면 오늘 겁나 추도섬 건 적거래. 레라월 생도스. 드링아 가서기니 고소. 단데테 기시도 요래. 야 추서성분 알아. 저때 그 곰다마로 신은 또 그래서 또 어째 그래서. 근데 랍샤 단다 변나 기시지요래. 지메 타상라 아니 나 베지 되죠. 공기 단다 송도. 공기만 죽이지로 걸어야 아니 라마데 짠네. 신의 간이 듣거든. 오늘 드베 여러 번 계속 간이 듣거든. 듣거든. 오늘 신의 아버지 듣는 추서섬난 듣거든. 추서섬난 듣면은 애처럼 듣다는 노래래. 양조 지난 명아 된 걸로 하기도 해. 어떤데 라기도 다 얘는 하고 메스.
추숨 나오는 게 추숨인 것이고.
추서섬은 알아라.
뭐 추숨인 거 다, 로디 때문에.
추서섬은 곰 로테는 야보 잡다와 얘나 아니 신의 듣거든.
So anyway, I was just checking sure with Geshe. So Geshe said there was a monk, who they say who have an actualized karma abiding, and then the other monk, went to ask, how is it possible to actualize karma abiding, and how do you actualize it? Then he said, oh, you can meditate and you can actualize in 3 hours. If you don't actualize in 3 hours, then that means you are not doing properly. So I said, that's not possible to actualize karma abiding in 3 hours. And what it means is that, like, if you're able to focus on an object, for 3 hours, then you have actualized karma abiding. If you are able to focus on an object without any disturbance for 3 hours, then you have realized karma abiding. You have actualized karma abiding. So if you are not able to focus, for 3 hours, then that means you have not actualized karma abiding. Therefore, you have to go back and meditate again more, to actualize the karma abiding. So that's what it means. Doesn't mean that you're going to actualize in 3 hours. It means like you have to be able to focus for 3 hours at least to show that you have actualized karma abiding.
얘도 다나 취재들에다 군주고 송고 야름지 송다. 취재제들 취재일이나 곰자 통도 주네. 맞춰지네. 취재일이나 대등이 되는 독 송도.
And His Holiness also mentioned that there are some Westerners, they are able to focus on object, on a single object, single pointedly for about 2 hours.
오케이. 다 나도 대 주마니가 아니 주마나 다 쟁이 상절람도 줘 봐서요. 아니 되는마 양도 곰자기 되게 인데시티 잡토식이.
And the next one is taking the unfavorable conditions into a path to enlightenment. So we're going to discuss more on that and then do more meditation on that as well.
Okay. Any questions? I can see that the cats. Yeah, Deborah.
So when you say you can actualize karma abiding in the 6 months, is that 6 months of like a silent retreat, or the 6 months of just doing practice for half an hour every day?
No, like the only time to go bathroom and eat.
Okay.
Not just
So full time, 4 sessions a day,
yeah.
2 hours a session, 4 sessions a day, and full time like that, yeah.
Okay.
So only time you take off, is to, I guess, to eat and to go to bathroom.
Not just half
If you do
hour.
like that for 6 months, then it's possible.
Yeah.
Okay. 제가 남중아도 저기도 나도 저해서 그래. 나 또봐 찍는 나도 또봐 뭐네 찍으면 나도 곰시라 자기면.
So usually we think, like, oh, I'm not getting any realization. I'm not getting any realization. So that's true because we're not meditating.
Okay, John.
Yeah. So, can you go to a retreat for 3 months? There are 3 and 6 month retreats I know of, but they're not Tibetan. They're Vipassana, and we used to meditate every 45 minutes, and we have like a half an hour of walking meditation. It's all in silence. No one speaks for the whole week or month or 3, 6 months. Would you, do you like that idea, or would you just stay with Tibetan?
나도 배워라 로스ም 다슴 삼대 요랬어. 미세그런 삼대 되게 뭐 요래.
그러나 이제 나도 되게 어려워서 되게 어렵다.
근데 되게 그러다 제단 되게 간지
저는 되게
대체는 대체해야 되고 신의 접거로. 신의 접에 찾더래.
Yeah, you can do that. That's to actualize the karma abiding.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good, that's the good to do too. It's not necessary to do the Tibetan way. That's the Tibetan way of doing like that also, and you can do retreat, for a long time, for 3 months, 3 years, like 3 days like that, so you can do all those in meditation in order to gain the realization of calm abiding.
So where do they have those? In this country or only in Dharmasala or?
야, 자가다 너와도 파시 요 말에. 다 자가다 배도 못 보여로.
먼저 더 배를 그러면 소소도 제가 맞아 직 가서 맞아 그 프로그램도 직 소지 제가
야, 배발 lucid 요 말에. 소소도 제가 맞아. public 제가 말에.
So like the meditation courses, usually there's no organized courses or retreats like that, in Tibetan tradition. You usually don't do that, and it's the Western way, of having like and of course there's a teaching, right? There's a teaching, a group teaching for all the people, all the audience. They can go to teachings, listen to teaching, and then go back and meditate on their own. That's what they do, So there's no like organized retreat or meditation sessions, for in a group. There are some way you can do in a group, but not really in that way. And so so most in Tibetan tradition is you do on your own. You get the instruction and do it on your own.
제가 밑에 거는 삼대가 못 보여래.
And so you can do that for as long as you need, And there are people who do retreats and meditations throughout their life.
Right. Well, I know that they have houses you can rent up in Milarepa, little cabins, and then you go eat at night with people.
Yep.
Okay.
양 담담 변화 지지에서 변화 단단한 거는 저는 가서 검자에서 따다차도 인지미지 그 사동로도 조금 소소 망아체 소소 감바리 와인데 소소 god마 잡 나올 때는데 그 몸으로 차도 그러었어.
So yeah, I mean, of course, it's all depends on how convenient it is to do, right? Practice and meditation. So therefore, we go to different places, but otherwise, you can do it in your home also. Right now, it's like this time when you're at home by yourself, you can just close the door and just sit in your altar room and do the meditation. That's good enough also.
Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Bob.
You were saying that we can think that everything good comes from that we have comes from the kindness of the three jewels, and I was wondering what is the reason for thinking that?
근데 제와이나 아니 오늘 야포 영화데 같이 가 기ven 레버를 왔어. 기ven 레버도 가와 정말에 같이 주권 좀 냠내 데려와.
Yeah, so whatever good we have, is because of the virtuous action, right? And who taught us to, or who inspired, or who taught us to create the virtuous action is the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. And therefore, we say all the good thing that we have is by the kindness of the virtue, and the virtue is by the kindness of the three jewels. So therefore, it's all by the kindness of the three jewels.
Thank you.
제가 배나 나도 간지 나도 레드 단다서요 그저 말로 개와 뭐뭐 사람 뭐뭐 레 뭐뭐 사요 그래서.
So the karma that we have created is not only in this life. We had so many countless lives in the past. So we could have created all these karmas, and we could have created karma in any of those lives.
제가 레근 레버도 첩들고 소주시라 자면 도와서. 마트병을 자요래. 첩들고 소주시라 자요 말에.
So once the karma is ripened, then there's nothing, no changes can be made on that. But before it ripens, we can make the changes. We can purify it, purify the karma, or we can increase the karma and so forth.
배나 나도 미라고 제와나 나도 다 남벨래 남벨 시다래다 때데 하고메다. 임베 손으로 따다도 나도 미제원 삼아라야 소소 아마선에 마 대치 아니 소소고 섭다 간데 니 제면 가라 다라야 그 찬호처럼 뭐지 그때야 니 제오 영화치도 섭다시라 되면도 샤치다 가르면 같이 나시라 되면도.
So it's just like we have created a karma, and the result of karma is experienced in that form. So once you have, once that karma is ripened in that form, then there's nothing you can maybe change to that form. Like when you are born, you have created karma to be born as human being, and you have created a karma to be born as human being with such and such shape. We all have different shape, right? All of us will have a different look. Our look is the result of our own karma. So because we have created certain karma, because of that karma, we have this look that we have, or each have. And that look cannot be changed. Once we are born with that, and then, yeah, so from the time when we were born, and as we age, it changes. But whatever shape we have, it's like that. You can't change that, with the surgery or things like that. So whatever you do, you can't make really changes on that.
간지 샤치 돈 잠으라치나 그다 니지고 작으면도 간지 될라야 되니 강에 마을랭 도세.
So usually, when you do the plastic surgeries, on your face, it doesn't really make it better. It creates more problems.
제가 그 단단히 그 니제오 섭다 야보 영화때 아니 나도 남배 셔와이나 제왕하면 레라라래 그랬나 그래서.
And so the best plastic surgery is the good karma. We have created a good karma, then we'll have a good look. Real cause of the good look is the patience.
제자 앞에는 가도 시도로 맞다와게 시도되고 아니 가로 센터 리메도 야보지 답지 아니 콜라탄다 젠도 야보잖아 아니 고야보 젠도 담보는 맞다야 그렇고 리전도 왔다네 야산이 야지고 그다가 젠도.
So just like the tree or the fruit that grows from the seed, it depends on how good is the seed, right? If it's a healthy seed, and it's properly planted, and you provide all the conditions like water, fertilizer, and so forth, then it will grow into a really good tree and fruits. But if the seed itself was not a healthy seed, like a rotten seed, and the condition was not provided properly, then when it grows, it will be very a bad tree or bad fruit.
제답변에 다 디럽다 단디 내당된다. 오늘게 가로 내철 줘라. 대인도 저오시나 자요 말이.
So the actual nature, of the time that we live in, can't really make changes, with that.
근데 나도 대단 요거도 없나. 다 부모 가시 야 첨부 쳐들어야 하네. 다 시작지단에 벌려져. 복가지야 첨부도 부모를 적은도 와. 다그 그런 거 삶아 땅땅이야 고다 상보여리. 실로도나 다를 섬다. 다 된디들랑 오늘게 남주 그 그리고 근데 부구 잘 여러 들이 차그려 봐서. 용거려 봐서. 근데 버지 법 담보 오늘 보여 봐지. 다 그런 거 섬도 나 부모님 삼 봐지. 근데 자지다 고 부모 채wan다. 다 대라에 남주 나지 지는 고 부구 차그려 봐야 돼. 이거는 그래나.
So I have a question about the transgender, like people who are born as a boy and then later think that they're women, and then they like dress up, put on makeup and like that, and then become like a woman. And then there are some also cases like a woman born as a woman, but then they like a tomboy, and then they act like a boy and become like a boy. So is it really happens, or it's just in that thought?
근데 여와지 뻔나 부치기 안에 부모 인상 받지 야지 부모 소지 샤지 다지 무슨 참아도 저자에 근데 그 부모 들어야 부고 남주 나지 부제 그래야 돼 걔들 요래.
And then in the case like where the boy thinks that he's a woman, and then he even goes through the surgery and changes his the vital signs, and then go become like a woman, right? Even do a surgery of their secret parts, and then become like a woman. And that person who became a woman by doing the surgery and things like that, will they be really a woman? Like, will they be able to become a pregnant and give a birth like that?
그때 부기지야 당하고 지금 투자가 발로 샤워다 되는 많이 받지 다 남주 가로 날무 시야래 근데 걔 요래 저도 권유해서.
So is it possible? Not like what do you call that? With the surgery, like a planting the seed in their womb, not like that, but really becoming a pregnant, like just like a normal woman becomes. Is it possible?
They will not have a womb. The surgery doesn't give them a womb.
Okay.
But you can change maybe the
outside
secret organs so that you can have a relationship with someone, and they might enjoy that relationship. But the womb they don't have any way to create a womb.
Uh-huh.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Actually, I know of a lot of people, especially who have transitioned from female to male. That particular transition seems to be a lot easier, and in part because of the testosterone treatment. The testosterone just seems to be stronger and more easily sort of applied, and so people who have transitioned from female to male pretty much are, really living and acting, pretty much as if they were born that way. Yeah, it's a little more difficult for those going from male to female. But
Yeah, it's a girl like that boy, that man, the female become male. 그다 부서도 그래서 그지.
2 months.
안에 부서도 그래 말아.
So you said from male to female to male is easier than male to female.
much.
Male to female.
But like when somebody becomes 달카레 거기야 달카레 가서 부모 되게 보잖아 되게 보게 되는 버저 게임에.
야, 지문형 되나고 부서도 그래서 부서도 그래서.
So and then also like a female who became a male, and then he like now he, right? So previously she, now who becomes he now, when he engages with another woman, and then can she become pregnant from him who was she? Same thing, right?
Say it again.
When a boy becomes a female, she can't get pregnant, right? Because she can't have the womb. I mean, he can't have the womb, right? She can't have a womb. But when the female becomes a male, then can he produce a sperm into other women, and then women become pregnant like that?
Usually not.
No.
Yeah. 제가 okay. Now I'm not talking about, but like today that go that 세링 로다로 봐. 그 세링이 때도 오늘 따지랑 제요 봐. 그 따라 포 따지지는 연구요 봐.
So that's more like a science, right? So how it works,
Right.
It really only affects like the somatic presentation. It doesn't affect like what's called the germline, the reproductive aspects.
But in terms of Buddhism, couldn't somebody, because of their karma, they go into after their last death, they manifest as, I mean, we bring what we are and bring what we have, and maybe somebody that is a part of their karma, that they end up with the body that isn't a part of their consciousness.
Right.
인수다. 그래서 가서 레기 지내다 가서 소소 다 김이 제기 레사요 같이.
Yeah.
게임 지내다는 그 불러케래. 이나 뭐라 좋아다 그런 거 좋아다 지금 상담 보면 하셔도 레기를 쓰라.
Yeah, that's exactly yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Of course, we believe that is karma also.
Okay, Karen.
Didn't we discuss this? Excuse me. Didn't we discuss this a few months ago? And Buddhism says that one can't become a monk until a certain age because the gender can change. And I was saying, that's not possible. So we were having a discussion about this in class a few months ago.
제가 나도 나한테 열었어요. 때문에 고만요. 그내 지오자는 취소될 내마도 여나 간다는 것이. 대야 지오자들 차상원이 실로 나로 그가 지오자는 실로 지오자 하고 매. 좀더 단단히 열.
Yeah, that can be possible, that can be possible, right? So, so therefore there's a rule, such rule made in the Vinaya, to not allow somebody to become monk until a certain age because that thing can change. But have we heard anybody like in our history? Have we heard anybody who have changed their the sexual organs into such and such, like that. That's really very rare, right? Unless nowadays, of course, they do it and purposely, through surgery and things like that, but not naturally changing into that.
Right.
단다 나도 배워지 해야 배워지 내가 그 자와지 다들 그 부모 차대 배워지 나 고샤지 땅에 막그 단다 수부 봉수부 차대 지요
아
배워지 해야 돼 배워지 해야 돼 내가 그 자와래 근데 그 부모 차 다들 그 부모 차 어디 그래
안에 가래 제모주래
세만 제용 말이야 세만 거다 보대 돼
아니
그걸 삼론 겨왔다 안에 수업다가 봉수는 어디 그래
아 네. So Geshe said there's also the Tibetan, who was a monk before actually, who was a monk and then he became like a woman, Of course, he's the organ is same, male organ, but his appearance and all these things and actings and all behaviors and all like a woman.
Okay, anyway, yes, Karen.
Yes, I have a question about karma biting. But first, I want to say that there are many, many, many people who have both female and male organs, and that's a thought for some other time. But my question about karma biting is when someone has pain, discomfort that interferes with being able to meditate, how can that person, what can that person do to not be distracted by the pain?
소소 수보다 지금 나자게 지 강에는 용되거나 그 나자 되기 전에 다 소소 삼로 따도 탕 맡아보나 가드는 거 나용되는 데는 그 삼로 땅통 말아 내려라 내내 가르쳐 버렸어 나 신내구나
제가 대 일본 먹고 맞지 때때곰 막곰에 이거 마셔봤지 다들 연구를 해서 삼지 아니 남아지 왔도 곰은 꼭 갈래갈 롱로 삼도.
Yeah, so of course, for the beginners, that's difficult. When you're tormented by that pain, it is really difficult to focus on something else. But if you focus, then you will not feel the pain much. So it depends on the level of the pain. If it's so pain, then forget about it. There's no way you can meditate on that. But if it is not that much painful and you can think something else, then you can do it. So even if you are tortured by so much physical pain, but you can still think about something else. And when you're thinking about something else, you don't feel the pain. So just like that, you can think, you can use that, on the karma biting. So you focus your mind on the object, and you're not thinking about the pain, and you don't feel the pain so much. But then, of course, there's a pain that will come up, And so first, maybe start with very short meditation. And then you'll be disturbed by pain, and then you can relax, and then again go back. So Geshe said, try with the short, and then maybe later, slowly, you can make it longer and longer.
아메리카지 야들 비는 소소리는 안에 수보 나요 데마도 야 많이 예ደ나 캐면 그거 맞지는 되겠어. 그 샘성도 많이 예든 제가 그 만들어 개요 말에.
And so sometimes people have this physical condition where they feel pain when they're sitting straight up, with the cross-legged, for a long time or even for a short time. So if you are not able to do that, then those people find it okay to lie down. Their body is not in a pain when they lie down. Then in that case, you can meditate on calm body and lying down also.
Thank you.
Okay.
I wondered about the lying down part. It seems as though I want to go.
Yeah, you can lie down. If you say, okay, I'm not able to do that, then I'm stopped. It's not like that. Okay, if I'm not able to like that way, I can do like that way. You just lay down. And just keep your mind more positive. Okay, now we're not talk too much. Okay, thank you. I hope you guys do a little bit of meditation to every day, every time, every moment. Now we finish here.
Sa shi perki jukshing me tok tram ri rab ling ji ni de gyen pa di sang ye jin du mi te o wa gi drokun nam dak jing la che par shuk chi tsun la me ku tse rab ten jing nam pa trin le chuk je gi pa dang lo sang ten pe dren me sa sung gi ro we mun seo tak tu ne gyu chig idam guru ratna mandalakam niryatayami. For my two collections, vast to space, that I have amassed from working with ever to this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eyes blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn to the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounty as peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by even this graded course to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest past praise by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in life till samsara's end. Savior of the Snowland teachings and transmigratory beings, who extensively clarifies the path that unifies emptiness and compassion, with the lotus in the hand, Lord Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be fulfilled. You who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as a bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Majjhima's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels, Savior of myself and other your disciples, please, please live long. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha's state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Mig me te we te chen chen rezik, dream kien pei wang po jom pel yang, gong chen ke pe su gen song kapa, lo sang rak pe jabla so de. Thank you, Geshe-la.
Everyone, a
Yes,
wonderful night.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Geshe-la and Damchala.